why the Crusades happened, or why the Inquisition happened. You say, listen, it's obviously they weren't reading Jesus Christ. It's obviously they didn't read Matthew 26, where right after he told the disciples in the upper room the night before to go and sell their cloak and buy swords, he then tells Peter to put away his sword. For he who lives by the sword dies by the sword. That's my Jesus. That's my Jesus. We have found that way it works really well. Just bring it back to Scripture and always bring it back to Jesus. You get Jesus into your discussion, you've won the debate. Every discussion. Well, he wins the debate, not you. He wins the debate. Now, the historical precedent. This is another one that's coming out quite popularly. That is the new may test the old and takes precedence over it. So when what they're doing is they're saying the new always is better than the old, and they're looking at two verses in the Quran that support that. In chapter 2, verse 106, and chapter 16, verse 101, it says, that which we give, mansuk, we give something better later, nasik. Mansuk versus nasik. Now, you won't know this, but they will know this. And therefore, they're saying these two books come at two different periods. This comes first. This is mansuk. This comes later. This is nasik. This abrogates that. This, therefore, is more authoritative than that. Do you see a problem with that? That's a logical fallacy, isn't it? The best is always seen as the latest is always seen as the best, which is fascinating because that's not how history works. Am I correct?
Yes.
If you want to find out something that's happened historically, do you go by what people are saying today, or do you go to the eyewitness account? Whenever there's an accident on the street, and the police put up signs with the time and date, and they give you the time that happened, then they put a telephone number below. Why do they want a telephone number? Because they want you, if you saw this accident, to call them up. Why? Because you're an eyewitness. Eyewitness, by far, is the most authoritative witness for anything that's happened. So just take the example, let's take the person of Jesus Christ dying on the cross. This book says he didn't die, another took his place. This book is very clear, he did die. Which is more authoritative, and which would you go to as an authority for the crucifixion? The bigger, the better book, okay? The one on this side. That's true. This comes 600 years later. This is written by John, who was at the foot of the cross. He would have known who was on the cross, okay? So you go with the eyewitness account. So this whole thing of historical